lovely viewers, it's another exciting episode and the Daily Trend. As usual, is entertaining, informative, and education. It continue our discussion on relationship. We're going to talk about snooping. Is it right to snoop on your partner? When do you think it's okay to delete your ex's details? We're going to dig into our conversation after this short break. Welcome back from the short break. We're going to start our conversation.
In this discussion, I want to ask, have you snooped on your partner before?
Snooping is normal. I have snooped on my partner several times, and it was in the beginning. I felt guilty, but then from what I found out through snooping, I'm happy I actually did that.
Snooping is actually trying to do something in secret so that your partner wouldn't see. Okay, so if you suspect that your partner is doing something that you feel it's not good for your relationship, you try to find information, maybe through his phone, maybe through his messages, just to get to know what is going on with your partner.
But then we know that if your partner gives you permission to go through his or her phone, then would not term that as snooping. So let's say I'm going out with this guy and then I have his password. So he knows that I have his password. So if I'm going through his phone, it's with his permission. So we wouldn't term that as snooping. But it's when I know his password, but then when he's not around, maybe when he's sleeping, when he's taking his bath, or when he's out, he leaves his phone, then I go and take it and I want to find out what is he doing, who is he chatting with, where was he, how long has he been doing this or that. Yeah, so that's what we would term as snooping. And it's now realized that 70% of men actually in this world, right, snoop on their partners, on their female partners. And then for the women, quite surprisingly, it's just 47%.
But why do you think it's mostly the men who do the snooping?
I know, we've always thought that women will be the ones going around sneaking and wanting to be so finding out things, but then it turns out it's the men.
Well, it's the men, because I believe that if a man is dating or a man is with a very beautiful woman that he feels like every guy would love to be with, that woman he's with, he doesn't feel secured. So him going through the wife or the partner's phone, it's normal to him, because he wants to be like, I want to know if I'm the only one handling this lady.
And he wants to feel
in my opinion, insecurities and then trust issues mostly has to do with men. Women are good at hiding some things, but men go all out with some of these issues.
So with women it's secrecy, with men it's snooping, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to take our short videos from people on their opinions on snooping.
Not all that. It's not all that advisable. Sometimes if you are somebody who has a very soft heart, then you do check on your partner's chats, messages and all those things. You may end up having problems that were supposed to be oblivious of the relationship. But because of that constant monitoring of the phone and then you have those kinds of problems, which may not necessarily be problems.
Everyone has his or her own personal life. You know your limits, you know your boundaries between you and then your partner during your relationship times. So there's no need for you to go through his items when he hasn't asked you to, or when you've not asked from him or anything. It's not a nice thing. It even brings about trust issues and a whole lot of misunderstanding.
Yeah, building on her point of trust, I think I share the same view with her. Love is all about trust. You can never love someone you don't trust. So the more you begin to go through the person's pictures, messages and those things, it looks like you are suspecting the person. Yeah. So when that happens, it begins, that's the genesis of a breakup. So there are some of the messages that may not necessarily have to do with your relationship, but when you see them, it begins to create some kind of mentality in you, and before you realize, you may be the cause of it. So actually, there's no need. Even if you are doing it, let the person be around and let the person be willing to. But when the person is not around, like you are serious, It's like you are being unfair. Even to me, I can see that would be like the person trying to snoop. You are being ungrateful or you're a cheat. Yeah, that's what I think. Because you're hiding from the person.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Welcome back from this short break. We're going to continue our section. We're going to start with the reasons why people snoop around. People mostly snoop around because they are insecure about some things. They feel like they don't want to repeat some things that happened to them from their previous relationship. Maybe their previous relationship, they weren't really snooping around. So if they snooped around now, they might find out things that will help them from not leaving or from not ending their relationship. But if they do not do so, then maybe they are going to end up with a fatal breakup. Maybe their partner is even cheating and they have no idea or reason why they are even supposed to do
There are
that.
some relationships where the partners don't have enough conversation, communication. So sometimes because of lack of communication, you would be tempted to snoop. Since there are some topics your partner would not be ready to talk to you about, so you would rather pick the phone and read messages or maybe go through the call logs to find out what your partner is up to. So sometimes lack of communication makes you snoop.
And then we would also realize that some people don't trust themselves enough. They feel like their partner is competing, is taking another person, and so they don't want that unhealthy competition with maybe his friend or with someone else, and so they would want to go through his phone to find out what is he doing, with whom is he doing it, where is he going to, and all those kind of things.
Snooping being right or wrong, we're going to answer that question after this story I'm going to say. There is this partner who were so much in love with each other, but then it got to a situation, the man started being fishy. He takes his phone, then whenever he sees the wife approaching, he just puts it down. Whenever the wife is not looking, he's just busily chatting on his phone until the night when they were on bed sleeping. When the man was fast asleep, the phone keeps on beeping. Then the woman takes the phone, go through the phone, then realize that the man is actually cheating on her. Through snooping, she realized that the man is actually cheating on her. She wakes up in the morning, asks the man, and the man says, "No, I'm not doing anything of that sort." Give some false information, some false explanation to that. The man then goes back to see the woman she is dating. And then the woman doesn't even know that she is even married. So he comes back to the wife. The wife asks for a breakup. They end their relationship. And all this while not knowing the business that the man had and all those things was for the husband, was for the wife. Mm-hmm. But then when they broke up, the wife took everything back, leaving the man homeless and all these things. So is it right for the woman to snoop? Oh, it was wrong for her to have snooped.
Definitely, whatever reason you have to want to go through your partner's phone, okay, I think she would definitely have found out at some point without having to go through the phone.
No, but in this case, snooping was the right thing to do. I see as the right thing to do.
If she didn't snoop, she would have no idea that this is what my husband was doing. She got to know what
the man was doing behind her because she snooped.
But we said earlier, you mentioned lack of communication. So she realizes that, okay, so his attitude towards me has changed. He's not giving me some time that he used to give me. We are not doing certain things we used to do. So instead of wanting to find out what he's doing on his phone, why don't I talk to him about it? Why don't I ask him about it?
She didn't plan on finding out what the husband is doing on the phone. It was just a night that the two of them are asleep, and then the phone just keeps on beeping. Women are very sensitive to the point that even a least snore can wake them up. So as the phone keeps on beeping, she takes the phone, goes through and find out that this is what is happening.
And I'm even sure this thing has been going on. The man receives calls, the man has messages, and she doesn't, have a look at it. But then this time the man was asleep, the phone was beeping, he didn't answer. I think it was disturbing her, so this time she picked it. Curiosity would make you want to check so who is this person that is calling? He's not picking, you are still calling. I would want to check. So I think she didn't plan on snooping on him, but because of how consistent the beeping was, now she had to.
Maybe she even thought that it was an urgent message the man had to know about.
But at this point, we are realizing that because she snooped, now there's a breakup. They are no longer together.
Yeah, and it was right. Why would you want to be with a man who lies to you that there's nothing going on, but there is a lot under the cover?
But I'm sure there's something else they could have done to resolve that particular issue than just settle with a breakup.
If a man lies to you, the man has lied to you. If you wake up, you've broken up.
He might do it again.
He will do it again.
Okay, viewers, so let's listen to what this lady has to say concerning snooping.
Say you have a boyfriend and you see his phone sitting right there on the bench. What are you gonna do? For me, it's extremely tempting, especially if the trust isn't all there. Should you do it? Should you not? To me, it's like, all of my answers are sitting in this phone. I'm guilty of doing it one time. I'm not gonna do it again. It definitely sort of made a huge decision for me because I found out some stuff that was a make or break. So when I was looking through the phone, I wasn't looking for anything in particular. I was just looking to see if maybe anything suspicious was going on. What I found was quite devastating. He had sent me a selfie that morning, kind of just saying, hey, like I'm at a coffee shop. He sent the same photo to another girl. I didn't know how to handle it, so I just quickly put the phone down. I made sure that I wasn't just seeing things. You know, I looked at it a couple of times. I was like, okay, it's definitely there. It's definitely not me. I put the phone down, I locked it, pretend nothing happened. So he walked back in and I was acting strange. Obviously, I can't hide anything. So he's like, what's wrong? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, okay, I'm gonna be honest. I saw something in your phone. You sent the same photo to another girl. You know, I was suspicious. And that was the reason why I kind of looked through the phone because I didn't have that trust with him at that moment. So I guess I found out. It turned into a bit of an argument, tried to make excuses for himself, but kind of ended things. I wouldn't say looking through your boyfriend's phone is the right thing to do. If you're kind of trying to decide whether you want to go through the phone or whether you don't, maybe just talk to the guy first. If there's something you're worried about, talk to him about it, see if it's a big deal and see if it's what you actually are thinking. It will see whether you think he's lying to you or whether it's not, so it will decide for you.
Seeing that there's breakup now, let's look at some effects of breakup.
Wake up. When you wake up, there's nothing tying the two of you again, so you can start your life all over. Just that the person who caused it is the one who's going to be at loss because he has lost a precious jewel. There's something that is say that you don't know what you have until you lose it. So if someone is with you and then you have a lot of benefits, but then because maybe the person is even your blessing. But if you do something and then the two of you break up, he goes away he or she goes away with your blessing. He or she takes all the energy she brought in the relationship, it's gone. Maybe you are just a miserable someone sitting by a corner, married to a beautiful lady, and the lady is full of riches and all those things. You married her, you are living a comfortable life and all those things. You break up with her. Do you think you're going to live that comfortable life again?
Certainly not.
Yeah, so breakup mostly have positive and negative effects on the one doing the action and the one who accepts it.
You're trying to get yourself back together. You could be very broken, you could be devastated, depressed, but it doesn't mean you stay at that point. You'd have to get yourself back up, and it's a relationship that ended. It's not your life, so you move on.
Well, it's true, but if you are so much in a relationship and then you wake up, getting back on your feet is very difficult, especially if the two of you have dated for more than years and maybe the two of you break up the day you guys are going to get married. There is a nervous breakdown there. It's like you've destroyed the person's life. What if the person has a child for you? Well, are you going to say that we've broken up, we are done, so we have to forget about the child and then go our separate ways? I believe that although breakup has negative effects, we can work it out and come back together.
Sure, so we'll continue this conversation right after the break. Stay tuned.
Welcome back from the short break. How long will it take for you to delete your ex's details from your phone? How long are you going to take before you finally realize that it's over, then you should move on?
Personally, I was talking to a friend of mine, and then she told me that for her it didn't take so long. I mean, after the breakup, things are done. Why still keep you can keep their contacts. I believe you can keep their contacts, of course, but pictures should go, your chats should go, the places you used to go to together, those things can be done. Yeah.
A friend of mine also told me she would keep the pictures because of memories. If she feels that those are the memories she had with the person, so she cannot easily let go of those ones, so she would keep the pictures.
we broke up today. Everything is going today. We delete contact, we delete pictures, I delete everything that reminded me of this. I'll even, if it's possible, I'll forget he even existed. Because if I remember his name, it's trauma for me. If I take my phone, go through the memories, it's emotional stress for me. So why should I keep all those things, and when I can just delete it and save myself from those things?
But you know we are different people, and then we all have ways we react to situations. Okay,
Yeah.
so maybe for you would feel traumatized when you see the person's pictures. You might feel like calling the person because you have the person's number. But in someone's case, the person wouldn't mind having the person's contact, because you do not know when, for some important reason, you may need to contact the person. You might let go of the pictures, but I think contact is very important to keep.
And of course, you once shared a life together. So someone say, if not for anything at all, for the respect of the other person, for the respect of a relationship you had, fine, you're not together anymore. But it doesn't mean he's dead. It doesn't mean you are dead. No, I mean, you could still hello, hi.
But you know, there are some relationships, immediately they break up, it's like they don't know each other from Adam. Immediately they break up, they don't know each other from Adam. No one calls the other. No one checks on the other. Even when you do that, you don't even know whether the person is living on well or not. But then if you are attached to those things, you kind of give the person some superiority that, oh, when I was with you, you were someone. Since I have left, then it means you can't be with that person. Or since I have left, you can't be happy. But you should know, you don't need someone to be happy. We can be happy on our own. So why should you hold on to things that will just bring you down? For me, we delete everything. We forget each other. We all go our way. We build up our lives.
I don't see this one, making this fixed. Okay, before, or how long is going to take you to delete your partner, your ex contacts, his pictures, his messages from your phone? You should know yourself. Okay, so if I am able to keep his pictures and I'm able to keep his messages without thinking about him, you can go by it, because if you make it fixed, we are all different people and we all have ways.
Differently to
so
issues.
you can't make it fixed that since you feel you would be traumatized by seeing his pictures, and also if you break up, delete everything, take everything off your phone.
There is a belief that if you break up from a relationship and then you have the contact and details of that person, the possibility of getting back together with that person is very high.
But it's not every breakup. You've had a breakup, yes. It doesn't mean it's done. There are people break up and then after a month or two, they come back together. After a year, they come back together. So imagine if you had deleted everything. How do you get back together? And there are cases where these breakups actually led to marriages, okay? Successful marriages. Yes. So if you delete everything, as you are saying, then where would they get
If you know
together?
your relationship is an on and off relationship, then you can keep it. Because an on and off relationship, there is always this thing that we will come back. Even after a week, we will still come back together. But you're just dating this person for the first time. You break up. You delete everything. There's nothing like on and off. What if you even try so much to talk to the person and then the person is not giving you the chance? Maybe you just broke up, then you realize that the person is even seeing someone else the next day. So it's just, okay, maybe you can wait for a day or two. Keep all those things for a day or two. If you feel like the person is talking to you, then maybe, I have hope that we can come back together. But if a day or two and then he hasn't even called you to check up on you, I beg, delete everything and go your way.
In my opinion, with numbers, you can keep.
Yeah.
But with pictures, messages, you have to let go of it.
And then, people even continue on their social media walls, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, and all those things. They go ahead to follow their posts of their exes and all. Some people would say that they would want to delete those too. But then as you are deleting those, then you have friends, okay, and they would want to know what is going on, how are things. So it's at some point, it's not really everything that can go off. Yes, some things can go off, so the communication is cut, but not everything.
Let me just agree that you can keep the contact of the person.
So
but you're keeping the contact, but nothing even tells you to call the person. It's just making your contact list too full. You just have to delete it. So you can't just delete it. Okay, you have the contact. What at all will you need from this person that you will call him? Nothing.
Right, so let's listen to what these students have to say concerning deleting your ex's details.
With my view, I don't think it's actually needed for you to delete his contact or pictures or anything of that sort. But after a relationship, you can still be there as friends, but then you know your limits and boundaries. So I don't see the need for deleting details of your ex after a relationship.
For me, I think the longest my ex pictures to stay on my phone or my computer should be for a week. Because if it's over, it is over. Because should I get into another relationship and the new partner sees them, it may give her the hint that I still have something to do with the person. Like you said, it's good to keep in contact with your ex, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you keep the pictures of the person.
But so far as your ex is your friend,
yes, like I'll be keeping her contact, not necessarily her picture, because at times there are some pictures that when you see them, it gives some bad.
So you can delete some.
No, just take everything out. Maybe later, maybe when you meet as normal friends, then take the picture and say, this is my ex, this is the time I'm taking. That it keeps the friendship. I think the contact will be okay than deleting the picture. That's me, my view.
Welcome back from the video. We're going to continue with whether it is okay to involve third parties in a relationship, or maybe you feel like you're waking up and then you need a shoulder to cry on. So is it okay to involve third parties in a relationship? Because some people break up and then the next thing they find themselves in the arms of someone else to be consoled and all those things. Then later they end up dating the person. Is it right or it's wrong?
So surely we would have to define what we mean by the third party. Yes. Is it a friend? Is it a counselor? Is it a parent? Is it a pastor? Is it a youth leader? Who is this third person that we want to involve after the breakup? And what do they mean to us? If you are going to confide in someone, it means that they knew about your relationship. Mm-hmm. Definitely, they knew that you were starting it, and now that is over, you'd want to confide in them about something. Right?
Yes, you can, but then I don't trust friends so much when it comes to talking to them when being the third party of a relationship. You might even end up or find out that they are even the ones who caused your relationship to get ended. Because the much you tell people, it determines the much. What you tell people is what is about you. So if I'm telling someone that maybe this happened, I don't even know where he went wrong, I don't know what about me he didn't like anymore, then I'm trying to tell the third party that this guy doesn't like this thing, but I did this thing. But when deep inside, I don't even know what I did. So what if you tell the third party all these things, and then later on you find out that he or she is the cause of you breaking up?
So then it would mean that it's not everything that you can tell the third party, okay? You can tell them, okay, so myself and guy A were going out, but because of 1, 2, 3 things, okay, we're not able to go well. But as to exactly what the other person did, maybe you can keep that for yourself. It's your private life. Whatever you did, if you cheated or if she cheated, telling the third party now will make them also look at your partner in a different way. Now, whenever they see them, oh, she cheated, oh, he cheated. So,
okay, so having a third party doesn't necessarily have to be someone you know so that you can confide in the person. You might not know the person, but you can still share something that you went through with the person, and then maybe in the end find consolation or something, to cheer you up in the third person you are going to involve in your relationship.
Finding someone to cheer you up, it's ambiguous, because finding someone to cheer you up in what way? Is it that the person is going to coach you now, or the person is going to try and take advantage of you? Or
no, there are some people, when you are just around them, you are happy. You don't have to necessarily do anything extraordinary. The fact that the person listens to you, you are okay. It's not about even going to the extent of being in a relationship with the person. Sometimes the mere reason that the person listens to you, you are okay talking to that person.
Then maybe counselors are the right people. They can do that, because families, friends, counselors are neutral. They are the best people. You can go to them.
But counselors are also strangers. Okay, there might be some counselors you know personally. There are others you do not know. So they might not necessarily be your friend, but you can still confide in them. Counselors would listen, and some counselors could go to the extent of being a friend.
The thing is, talking to a friend, the friend knows who you are. So even before he or she listens to you, the person is going to judge you and be like, oh, that's how you are. So it was, or everyone said you're going to break up. So some people, instead of encourage you, discourage you, and then they even blame you for what happened.
But there are also friends who, because they know who you are able to tell that, okay, so maybe this relationship was really toxic for you. Maybe this relationship wasn't healthy for you. It was draining you. It was taking too much of your time. So then definitely it is right. It is okay that you're out of it. Not necessarily encourage you to do what is bad, but actually urge you on that you deserve more and you deserve better.
So if we want to take a video on when you can involve a third party in your relationship.
For that, I would advise a no, because it's a relationship. It was just between you and then your partner. So there's no need involving a third party about it. But you could just say, oh, someone can ask you, how far with you and this guy, or how far with you and this girl? You just tell them, we are no more, and it ends there. There's no need for you to explain why, what's happened, how it's happened, and all that. It's just between you.
Yeah, the same thing. I think there's no need for you to tell anybody what actually the reasons are. What's how far with your partner? How we are no more anyway. But given what actually happens and we are no more, I don't see that one to be necessary. Telling someone what actually happens. Because actually, possibly when you're proposing to the person, no one was there. So there's no need when it is over. I should give you reasons why. I never give reasons why I'm proposing to you. Yeah. So I don't see the reasons why to share with another person why we are no more there. We are no more there. That's all.
So one of them was saying that when he was proposing to the partner, the third party was not there. So why is it that now that they are broken and he has to share information with the third party, he doesn't see it to be right to do it that way?
It will definitely all boil down to personal preference. If you want to involve the person, if you want to grow out of this, if you want to be able to get over all of this hassles and emotions and be free again, right?
Yeah, so communication helps. Communication helps the relationship, because if there is a lot of communication, then it brings down the challenges or ways that you guys are going to break up. A relationship without communication is like a soup without salt. So if you guys communicate too much, you're going to bring out things that you even keep in you can come out. Your partner gets to know your insecurities. Your partner knows that things are going well for you or things are not going well for you, and then they can come in and help you. This brings us to the end of this episode. You can catch a repeat on every Wednesday, 9:10 and 4:10 p.m. See you next week, same time, same day.